Hello and welcome to the Full FX Unfiltered. My name is Colin Lambert, I'm publisher of the Full FX, and this edition is in association with Deutsche Bank. And I'm delighted to be joined by Alan Basey, who is head of Haus FX UK at Deutsche Bank. Alan, love to see you again.
Yeah, good to be here.
Yeah. We're hearing a lot of Haus FX. Obviously, it is making an impact on the street. So I guess my first question would be, why has Haus FX succeeded where other solutions perhaps previously haven't done so?
Yeah, good question. I think a lot of it's to do with timing. So if you've got the right product at the wrong time, that's not going to fly. So what makes this the right time is obviously the rise in regulatory burden, but that's coupled with management fee compression for the buy side, but also spread compression for the sell side. So people are looking for solutions. I think if you then couple that with the approach, which is sort of orientated around customizable building blocks, allows us to tailor the solutions for the specific problem to a client. But I think that there's a quote which says you're an overnight success after 20 years of hard work or something along those lines. And it does feel like that. So there's been continual investment in this area. And yes, we've reorientated the solutions and how they're interoperable, but there's been long-term investment to deliver this. And really it's a journey. So if you imagine sort of the sort of different attitudes to automation, you have people who are still happy driving their car. You've got other people who are happy to order on an app, a taxi, whether that's Uber or elsewhere. And you've got other people who are comfortable with driverless vehicles. And somewhere along that line, people will sit. And actually it's about tailoring your solution to what people are comfortable with.
So, I mean, obviously, something I hear quite a bit in relation to Haus FX is technology partner.
Yeah.
So what does that actually mean in practice? You mentioned the building blocks and that sort of breadth of technology demand. How does it actually work in practice?
I think it's an evolution of the role of liquidity provision. So obviously that's still a core part of the business. But actually, when you think about technology partnerships, it's a deeper relationship in terms of the infrastructure. So working with clients to identify what the strategic problem is for them, how you can transform the business. And really it's about people who FX isn't a core part of their business. So it may not be alpha generative flow. And it's about opening up additional currencies to their end clients or doing things in a more efficient manner. So when you think about sort of technology, it is really around sort of opening up that infrastructure which has been designed specifically for these tasks.
So inevitably my next question has to be around different client segments because I think a wise man once said, if I've got 1 million clients and I listen to them all, I'll be a maniac inside 3 days.
Yeah.
How do you actually cope with the different needs? And you mentioned they're introducing new currencies, but what else is there that you can do? Because obviously you span the major world, but also restricted and emerging markets currencies as well.
Yeah, I think that's sort of crucial. It needs to be sort of compatible across what clients are trying to achieve. So there are core components which are common across the solutions, but really I think it's around, if we think about the different client types, it's probably easiest. So a bank might be looking to offer additional currency pairs, but they also might be looking at how they can reduce their hedging costs. So there are more dynamic ways we can integrate and work with vendors to do that. And then at the sort of other end of the scale, you've got asset managers who might have share class hedging programs or portfolio hedging programs. There are commonalities between those, but actually, can you do something which has a different set of rules and execution styles for developed, but actually it's the same workflow for restricted markets, and opening up that that sort of piece to market is crucial as well.
Because I mean, it is actually quite a tricky thing, as it is so complex, isn't it? Especially when you get into restricted markets, and the need for there's this reporting piece here that no other country in the world requires.
Yeah. So to handle that, you need to be open architecture in how you consume the data. So you don't actually even have to receive FX trades. You can receive underlying security transactions or payment details and things like that. And if you receive that, you can actually automate a lot of these regulatory requirements, and that's all part of making it a seamless experience for the user. But to your point on can't necessarily listen to everybody, it is that challenge of scale versus sort of customized.
Yeah.
So that's really where the sort of beauty of the Lego bricks or the building blocks come in, because you have core components and you can tweak the order or you can tweak the rules within those, but it allows us to scale whilst allowing a certain level of customization.
I mean, obviously it empowers the end clients,
Yep.
if I can put it that way. That greater flexibility, greater breadth of offering and so on. Is there also nuances around Deutsche Bank's relationship with their clients on Haus FX in terms of how much you're offering? Does the relationship reflect that?
I think it probably goes back to the first point around how those conversations have evolved in terms of there is going to be certain client types which we're not onboarded with, and actually our relationship is with whoever strikes the deal with Haus FX. So if that is a bank, then we're not actually having a direct relationship with the underlying clients. It's just expanding the product offering. So in that respect, it's not so much competing as working together to find a more sustainable solution for the FX market in general.
Yeah. You mentioned different levels of sophistication. We have to talk execution. I do believe it's in my contract, if not yours. So for those that actually are at the more sophisticated end and actually are looking to build more sophisticated services for their own downstream clients, what is Haus FX offering in the way of algos and analytics?
Yeah, so if you kind of break it down to sort of the overall workflow, you've got the sort of data, then you've got the rules, and then you've got the execution method. Within those execution methods, algos obviously fit in nicely, and they're compatible with the sort of core ethos of transparency and control for clients, which is needed.
Especially those that are systematic in terms of trading.
Absolutely. But it's also not the only way to execute. They can use benchmarks, they can use sort of our own liquidity, or we can even sort of compete those trades on their behalf. So it's pretty broad in terms of how we do that. I'd say in terms of the analytics, we have the real-time analytics for anyone using algos within market color, and that is really useful for sort of looking at sort of holistic market conditions as well. So we do various regime analysis within there and forecasting, all the good stuff. And then post-trade is kind of critical for Haus, because if you're going to differentiate with transparency, people want to know where it is in that life cycle of workflow. So being able to do that on demand, but also see and understand why something has been done that way is fundamental to the solutions.
So I guess I would close out by asking then, at a high level, obviously, because we can't reveal too much, but what would be next for, what sort of paths could Haus FX go? And hopefully the word house will be involved.
I would say I have plenty of ideas, and some of them end up in the outhouse. But one emerging trend is certainly how people can rationalize their market data costs and things. We're sitting on lots of market data. So it's probably going to be an emerging theme within our Smart House offering. But there's lots of different themes that can go down, but it's about listening to that client demand. Yeah,
and I guess that's the thing, isn't it? I suppose with that sort of modular build where you can put in, take out, it does allow you to actually sort of say, okay, there's a gap that we've identified that we can fill.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think we're really lucky as well. We've got a structuring team within Haus, so they don't have to just believe the salespeople. We've actually got people who bring those ideas into life and know how to connect the various components together. So that is the key differentiator for us as well.
Yeah, well, I wish you luck with it, because as someone who's sort of followed that outsourcing white, grey, red, yellow, purple label for many years, it's great to actually see something that looks like it actually is sort of sticky and a true relationship builder that would last. So thanks for talking to us today.
No, pleasure.
Love to see you, and thanks everyone for watching, and we'll be back again very soon.